What's up and welcome to yet another fantastic edition of your favorite podcast, Twak. My name is Danny Shodongo, they call me the son of Kano, and today I'm privileged to host an academic giant right in his home, in his backyard. And of course today we're going to just use English because we think this conversation needs to go far and wide. Professor, welcome to Twak, Professor Charles Ocholla. Perhaps for the sake of our audience, who are you and what do you do here, where we are, this institution here?
Yeah, I am Charles Ocholla.
Yeah.
I'm a professor of geography.
Okay.
University of Nairobi. And actually that's the only subject I know. I've done geography. I only did geography.
Yeah.
And I've been in public life, university teaching since 1989 to date. Spanning the University of Nairobi as a graduate assistant. Then when the Kenya government decided to open up space for academic, I was privileged to be employed, to be one of the pioneer employees of Maseno University. That was in 1990, where, as you know, that we did a lot of remarkable things to settle the university college until it was chartered.
Yeah.
Then I taught geography there until 2016 when Mboya University was started as also a constituent college of Maseno University. Actually, currently Maseno has given birth to two universities. Yeah. Joost, which was the first baby, then now Mboya University. I've been here since that period, a very trying moment because when I came, this university had a zero facility for tuition. Actually, we started this university college in the learning center, which was being used by Maseno University to actually reach out to the Homa Bay County people, to bring academic closer to the people. So when the county government requested the national government, as per the constitution, that they wanted to start a university, they actually gave space in the agricultural training center, which is unlike agricultural colleges. Yeah. This was a center where only farmers came for field studies. Then they went. So there was no structure which was meant for tuition activities. There were only scattered facilities for the instructors and also a hall for instructing the farmers when they had come from the field, and one or two dormitories.
Yeah.
Then when we came in 2016, with the help of Maseno University Council and the Vice Chancellor, we moved very fast and admitted our first cohort of 110 students. Yeah. That was done because those days were periods when the remaining students who hitherto would have gone to places that were not admitted could be actually distributed. So we managed to get the 110 students. Effectively, I was lucky amongst my peers to be appointed the acting principal, which I did until the interviews were done by the government, and I was appointed the first principal. Then I embarked on the road of developing this institution.
So, and for example, the world we live in really likes numbers. So in 2016, how many students did you admit? 110?
110.
Today we're in 2025, the month of February. How many students are at Mboya University?
8,827.
8,827 in less than 8 years.
Yes.
It's actually 7 years.
Yes.
Is that not a miracle, Prof? You are turning water into wine.
It appears to many to be a miracle, but let me tell you, when you are given an opportunity to work for your people, more importantly, I was appointed in a very trying position because I come from Homa Bay County, and I was given a job in my home county. Therefore, there was a lot of eyes looking at me, wondering whether it's going to be possible to work at home, to work amongst your people, and also to deliver what hitherto was a very high expectation, that they have gotten a university named after a very important person, and he's been given a university without facilities. What would happen? So I think I stepped back and said that maybe it was because of God's will that it be done. Yeah. So I embarked on a process of making sure that I told myself that I'm not going to blame anybody for so-called lack of resources or little resources or anything. I told myself and everybody, and my vice chancellor then of Maseno University, and the board of Maseno University, actually who managed Mboya University College until a board was formed. I told them that we are not going to tell people that we have been given little money or little resources. We are going to tell people that we've been given this little money and this is what we've done. And therefore, I quickly utilized the little money they had to put up a structure.
How much was the little money, Prof, if you don't mind us asking?
Yeah, the little structure that I did, which was a two-story building, which is the ground and 2 floors, costed me 62 million shillings and could accommodate 1,000 students at any one given time. Okay. And you know, by that time, I was still struggling with small numbers. But now I say that, no, let me create space for more students. So that we would create more income, because students were going to pay fees, students are going to bring resources to the county, students were going to expose these institutions to greater things. So I did that, which is currently hosting our library and some ICT environment. So I did that, and since then, I realized that it can be done. Okay. And we now started in a very, very big way to open up these institutions to structures that would be mind-boggling. After that, the ministry, we negotiated for one project, which was supposed to have costed us around 1.3 billion. But as you're aware, the government will always disburse these monies in phases, in tranches, in financial years. So I went back, because now I was the chief executive of the institution as a principal, and discussed with my board that I would wish to strategize how we were going to develop this institution. So we phased out the project we were given, which to date is one, but phased out. And therefore, I did my second project, which is a 5-story building, fully furnished, with the first public lift in Homa Bay, I like with facilities and structure that is beautiful, with a parking lot that is extraordinary for the students to enjoy, and which can also now accommodate 2,000 students at any given time. Therefore, that meant with permutation and combination, you can easily go do 10. Because your timetable is 7 to 7, and therefore you are able to make sure that the number can be as big as it is. And surprise, surprise, it has come to pass, because that building now is currently accommodating the 8,827 students that we have. And surprise, surprise again, is that it is one building that if you come to this university, you may not know is the one having the students. The students are quiet, the students are diligent, the area is rosy, is not stuffy, and you walk into Mboya, you would not know that number lands in that particular facility. Then I said that after doing this, then I can do something bigger. Then I decided now to do the last phase. Okay. Because we split that into 2 phases.
That's where we are right now.
And that is where we are right now, and having this discussion. Okay. And this structure is a 7-storied building, which can sit 10,000 students at a go, with a restaurant at the top of the 7th floor, which can also sit 1,000 people at any one given time dining.
Okay.
And this particular building is uniquely placed because it caters for any form of human being, whether you're challenged or not. This particular building also boasts of 2 lifts, each carrying 21 people at one go. That is 42 going up and down. This building has stairs around the lift. This building has a ramp that will take you everywhere. This building is accessible. This building has attracted a lot of interest to an extent that KCB has decided to take space for a branch, for a bank branch. And KCB has also come in to furnish one of our amphitheaters at a cost of 21 million.
Wow.
And currently Equity has also come in to do for us the moot court for the law program we are starting in September, which is going to be used as a court. And that moot court is going to be done in such a way that we'll even hire it out to judiciary so that we can hasten justice around, so that nobody can say we don't have space to do these particular cases.
All right,
so
Prof.
these issues are meant to tell our people that money is not little.
Yeah.
What is little are ideas to use that money.
And Prof, before we go too far, now let's come back to the crux of the matter. This day, we were having a Twak Leadership Forum. We were discussing education in the region. And we had so many stories, and one of the stories that, came out very prominently was that there's lack of facilities. That's why our best county, that is Homa Bay, took about 46% of their total students who did their KCC in 2024 to the university. And actually, by the way, majority of them actually, out of that, almost 30% of the ones who don't go to the university got D+ and below. And of course, CIA, got the tail, and they took about 25% to the university. How do you feel as a vice chancellor and somebody who studied in this region? How do you feel when you see these results and you hear the ensuing reasons why we are getting bad results?
I said when we were discussing amongst all of us when we were here, that I think that is a major excuse. It's not the reality, because the reality is that prominent schools in this country, I will count them, some were even so-called Harambee schools. We had both Harambee and government schools. Then, performance was very good. What went wrong? Now, all those schools where we learned, because personally I went to Wangapala Secondary School. That's where I did my secondary school. And then there was even no water, there was no light, there was no dormitory. We were sleeping in mud houses. We were bathing in the river, the bridge of Awach River. If you are going to Kadongo from Oyugis, we were bathing in Luanda River. We were coming back to school and carrying water in a barrel. But we were focused. And the teachers, we didn't have graduate teachers. We had diploma teachers and Form 6s, and performance was good. The resources were not as much as we have now. So this idea of performance is bad because of lack of resources and lack of opportunities is a big excuse. What we need to start asking is why, resource aside. And to me, my experience with this first foremost is the discipline from the parents.
Tell me more.
There is no child that will ever perform well if the parent is not disciplined to follow up what they are doing in school. Teachers are not parents of the children. Teachers are teachers. There are some things that they need support from the parents.
So the parents who abandon their role.
They give the children to the teachers and expect the teachers to teach them when they pass. If the child is at truant, the teacher should discipline. If the child is not reading hard, the teacher should make sure that they read hard. If the child is not, because I was in a school with a person who came to Form 1 with 13 points out of 36, and he ended up getting first division. He was the best. So what did happen? So getting weak students, for example, some of us were also talking about getting weak students of 150, 130, 120, is a non-issue. Circumstances as a teacher, who I am, we know that there are reasons why even a good student can get 150. But when they go to a different environment and they get good counseling and good support, they'll turn out to be best performers. So we only need to start thinking, how do we, as parents and teachers, come together to support the schools? In terms of even coming together just for a discussion about our children. Successful schools that I know have very strong parent-teacher meetings every term. People walk all over to go to those particular schools to discuss the performance of their children. And there's no excuse. Whether you are poor, whether you are rich, according to whatever you think, you are expected to come to school and discuss the performances of your child. If you don't go, the child is sent home to come and get you, so that you can sacrifice your time, you can sacrifice your resources to make sure that you guide that child to know that you are also concerned. And that is the bigger picture that we are talking about. Two, this idea of not having money, this idea of us being neglected. You know, we know, and in this discussion it came out rightly, that a parent who says he doesn't have money, in the evening is drunk. Every day.
He just doesn't have money for education, but he has money for other things.
And he's always dismissing people when he's drunk. But during the day, he doesn't have money. That 100 bob to take to school. Because how much are these schools?
Priorities. Priorities.
Critical. And these priorities require not only money. This priority requires presence. Requires a discussion with the teacher. You show interest. There are even institutions where children have been left to study without paying fees because the parent is concerned. Therefore, they support the child. And therefore, these are the kind of things that we are saying. This is where the rain is beating us, not where it started beating us.
There's the second point you mentioned, and majority of people here who mentioned that, Luos are marginalized, the government hates us, that's why they are coming even to examine our papers while we're sitting for exams so that they can disqualify us. What do you think is the role of this victim mentality in the long run, especially on the impact of education?
All of us who are talking like that went to school. Exams must be invigilated. Invigilation must be intrusive in a situation where something is suspected. If exams had no invigilation, then there should be no invigilators.
But they're saying they're marginalized.
And that is what I'm saying, that when we say that there is intrusive invigilation in Luoland and not in other places, how do we know? Because these are issues that we must be. But look, is it now? Because I've just said, name all prominent Luos you know in this country who went to Homa Bay High School. During those days, they were also Luos, and there were also exams. Homa Bay was performing very well. I would quote so many people who have been very prominent in this country who came from Homa Bay High School. I can quote so many people who came from Agoro High School. I can quote so many people who came from Musocha High School. And they did not get involved in exam leakage. Teachers were teaching, parents were concerned, students were learning. So how come now we are saying we are failing because we are marginalized? We are better schools, we are better infrastructure relative to that particular time. So this marginalization means what in terms of performance? How many of our schools are lacking? You can say are lacking, are seriously understaffed to an extent that they cannot teach the children. I tell you, if you take data in this county, for example, or in the Luo Nyanza region in particular, we have schools that even have more teachers than they require. And they are even locals, but they don't even want to be transferred to go to other parts of the Luoda to go and teach there. They want to be in their villages. They use all manner of things that they remain where they are. We have graduate teachers, which are many in this part. What is really the problem? This marginalization, how is it defined? Because you can define marginalization if, for example, when money is being given to schools, you're not given.
But we get money.
Allocations come to all of us. Teachers. When teachers are being posted, you have a case in point. We have TSC just across the gate here. The teachers are being posted. We have also, even boards can employ teachers. how come we cannot even also plug in as a community where we think and know that there are shortfalls?
We also get national government, CDF, which does a lot of
CDF, county
bursaries.
Yes, and also individual support. Individual support.
So then the summary of this problem is that we are using marginalization as an excuse. That's what you're saying?
That is what I still insist in.
Yeah.
And if anybody think that I am lying, that now or when they think we are not marginalized, then let them show us and say, expect this difference. I don't know, to me from where I sit, since independence, I don't know when the Luos have been in a different situation, different from now.
Yeah. But we're in broad
to an extent.
We're in the broad-based government now.
No, but even then we had the Nusmukati.
Yeah.
Even then, during Kenyatta, we had so many people who were cabinet secretaries. Actually, prominent cabinet secretaries were from Luland, even during Kenyatta's time. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is this, that the fact that we can't get what we want, and the fact that some people are getting more than us, does not mean we are marginalized. Even in your home, you find that sometimes you find one of your child is getting better treatment. Yeah. Would the other child say they are marginalized?
Yes.
And if at all we are saying we know we are marginalized, are we now saying we know the problem and therefore we should solve? What are the solutions? Because we should not just say, you cannot just say you're marginalized and then what are you doing about it? The governments of the day, expect some kind of give and take. And I think strongly that as long as we know what we want, there's some things that we must do, not the government doing for us.
Prof, I will take you to, let us address the head of this snake. I've done a lot of governance work in this region. There's one particular county, I will not mention its name, that spent 1 billion shillings on ICT in one of its CRDP. Yet that is an agricultural county, and they spent 500 million shillings on agriculture, fisheries, livestock, and development. You know what they did with this 1 billion shillings? They put screens across the said county. There's another county in this region where there was stunted growth of children below the ages of 5, and there were donors giving money to, to do nutritional supplements. This county spent a considerable chunk of money as their development lead in building the wall of a stadium. How do we fix? Because I think what you're saying generally is that bad leadership produces bad results. How then do we go for the head of the snake and say that, okay, we cannot continue to live like this. We cannot say we're marginalized, but we are wasteful in our spending. We can't say we're marginalized, but we are spending on wrong priorities. The previous speaker just mentioned that there are schools that don't have classes, but they have buses. There are schools that don't have libraries, but they have buses bought by the national government CDF money of the said constituency. So tell me, how do we correct this, learning from Mboya University, where you say you're given little, but you've done much. Now you can demand more.
Schools, just like the university, I'm a government employee. The government, I tell the government what I want, do with the money. If I don't know what I'm doing, the government will give me money to do that bad thing that I've said I want to do. So these schools who are more interested in buses but they don't have classrooms, it's just bad leadership. Because if you don't have classrooms, why do you itemize a bus? Why do you rank the bus as the priority? Which something that you can even go and beg a neighboring school to use.
Exactly.
Something that you can even combine resources with the neighboring school to use. You don't have classes. Therefore, you are buying a bus for who? Because there will be no students. Because when you don't have classes, definitely the number of students will be less. So why do you buy buses? Do you want to tell me you want to use buses to attract the students, that you'll have students coming because you have a bus? No. We have seen schools where people are demonstrating, parents, that children have failed and their buses. So the key thing that we want, and the bus issue is not something that is just the other day. Good schools were not known by the number of buses that they have or whether they had buses or not. They were known by the performances of the students. Therefore, bad leadership bad leadership leads to no development. There is, even if you are given billions and you don't know what to do with that billion, you'll have failed. Therefore, I am saying that a situation where a principal, for example, or a university vice chancellor, for example, buys a bus when there are no classrooms, the students are learning under tent, that is punishable. That's not excusable. In fact, these things are approved. I just don't wake up and buy a bus because I want a bus. I must present to the board and convince the board that this is the right priority. And I must see how it is going to plug into the core business. And the core business of any learning institution is academic, nothing else.
Nothing else,
You may not even have a bus, but you become an academic giant. Because after all, sometimes it's even cheaper to have no bus and hire than to have your bus that you don't hire and you run.
You employ a driver, take to Isuzu or whichever brand for repairs.
And then maintain it, repair, wear and tear.
It's expensive. So for a small for a small day school in a village.
Even to a national school. National schools are not national because they are buses. They are made national because of their performance. If you're a national school and you don't perform, there will be chaos. The parents will be, and the government will be on you. The other day, you saw that people are talking about national schools where children get even E, even D, and yet all the students they admitted were 400 and above. You know what? The maximum max in the last 844 was 500. Any student who got 250 is half. All should get C+ and above in any school they go to. That is half 50. And half 50 is the C+. So why should you admit students who have 250 and above, and then this 250 now gets a D, gets an E? Even as a school, we should go back to the drawing board. How come we also find kids who got 200, then they go and get A? How would you explain that? So therefore, what am I trying to say? That the kind of things we are saying are excuses. We have an opportunity. If you're given that opportunity in any environment, please strive to make sure that you bring a difference.
And Prof, you also spoke to the teachers, and I need you to speak to the teachers, mostly those who are heads of institutions, especially in this region. What can they do to change the fortunes of the region so that next year we are not again doing another Twak Leadership Forum and saying that now our outcomes are even worse than before?
I would encourage the leaders of our institutions and the teachers to just do their job. Syllabuses don't change daily. You can imagine 8442 took how many years to change. So if you're teaching the same syllabus for the last 10 years, you mean you cannot even perfect the art and make sure that you teach it well? Are they giving the children the time and attention required? Are they giving themselves the time and attention that they deserve? Because the teachers that I knew, that I went through, were people who were making sure that you're a teacher, whether you're on holiday or whether you're out of school. If you see, if it's a day school, and you see that your student is becoming a truant, you're a teacher. The teachers should use what they were trained to do if they must change the fortune of this. And then the little resources they have.
I like that.
The little resources they have, they should channel it to priority areas.
Not wasteful spending of unnecessary
Yes.
trips and luxuries
Yes.
in a place where people are wallowing in poverty.
Yes.
Yes. Prof, as we're coming to an end of this very great interview, you said a very final thing which I want us to talk about is that why people from this region need to think about going to universities in this region. You gave us some very shocking results that a majority of people who are entrepreneurial in Maseno or here are not locals. Perhaps you can repeat that and then in your final word, tell them why they need to come to Mboya University.
I want to start it this way.
Yeah.
The reason why our celebrated Constitution 2010 stated that it is desirable that each county has a university was not just for the sake of it. The reason was that those people knew universities are industry.
Yeah.
A university globally, most cities are university cities. Therefore, it meant that if you have a university, the students who are consumers will bring the resources to that particular county. Secondly, bursaries are all over. Governments allocate funds according to administrative units, according to political units, according to levels of government.
Yeah.
For the sole purposes of making sure that those resources are used in those geographical regions or territories or units. So, if you are blessed like the Luo Nyanza, where all the counties have a university,
Yeah.
and majority of them have programs that are similar, apart from the areas of the technical subjects like the engineering programs, for example, and some other uniquely placed programs where students want. Why should we spend our money, which we have been allocated, to support our student, our child, to go and do a similar course, which is in Mboya, to go and do it in Kirinyaga, for example?
Yeah.
We'll be taking back our money to Kirinyaga.
Or Mombasa.
Or Mombasa. Or Turkana.
Exactly.
But I'm not saying that people should not move.
Yeah.
But globally, what happens?
Yeah.
If you go to Europe, I went to Liverpool. Majority of undergraduate students are from Liverpool. Their first catchment areas are where they are located. The first catchment area is where they are located because it is cheaper for parents in terms of accommodation. Yeah. They come from home. They'll share the family utilities in terms of sleeping area, in terms of the foods, in terms of any requirement that will hitherto require you to resettle and create your own environment. And if our people say they don't have money, then they are taking their children again to recreate their living environments in another area where they would hitherto do that particular program next to their villages, where you can walk and check how your child is doing, where you can walk every market and even carry a bag of maize and take to your child to Siaga and then they use it to eat.
Yeah.
Then what is the purpose of having that particular institution within that particular locality? First, it would mean that you don't deserve it. If you don't trust it, who will actually know that you have a good institution? The opportunity is here in terms of the children can come from home in the morning by just walking, carrying their things in the backpack. They can use a bicycle. They can use a border, which they can even use to carry a passenger. Yeah. That money they use and buy lunch. When they are going home, they carry another passenger. That money they use for fueling.
Yeah.
So there are so many savings, so many things. And then when they come home, they can also help in household costs. They can milk cows if it is there. They can water the animals if it is there. They can do all these particular kind of things. So you'll be killing several birds with one stone. And that is the reason why I am encouraging And actually, I am pleading also to our people, our youth, our parents, our leaders, to have an affirmative action of finding a way by which we must empower our institutions to grow, so that we can utilize the resources that we are given. Because even if they are here, we are still going to collect tax, which will go national. And then the money is again given to us. Then we take it to another region. Yet, we have programs that are similar. We have staff that are as qualified as those particular places. And again, we have to grow our institution. But I hasten also to say that we cannot just talk.
Yeah.
As an institution, we should also create and introduce the programs that are attractive to our children, which is attracting them away from our institutions.
Yeah.
And that is where I call upon our leaders coming together with us to make sure that we generate resources and structures that can make us create programs that will attract the best or our best to be here. For example, if you had a doctor training in Mboya, during their clinical practice every day, they'll be treating their brothers and sisters.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when there is no doctor, you have an intern doctor.
Yeah.
If you're in Maseno, they'll be doing their internship in Russia and in Kisumu and in Kombewa and in Chulaimo. They'll be treating our people. So when there's still no doctor, there's an intern doctor. At least first aid person will be there to help our people.
Prof, hey. Oh man, that's a punchline. And I think why I like you and I like your ideas, because they are practical, they are not theoretical, they are not in the air, they are grounded in reality. Somebody can walk right here at Mboya University and see the buildings and see the growth and see the statistics. So you're not just talking from a grandiosity perspective, but you're actually demonstrating that. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us. I'd like you to have your one final comment. What would you like to tell your Nage as we bring this to an end?
Yeah. Ni ka in gi gima in go e dalani. Oludhi ma in go ema nego ni thuol. Ki wacho ni de mi aludhi thuoli de oko kaya. Thuol osekaya.
I like that. Yeah. Go on, Prof. Oh my God.
Akora wacha ngo asinyiso jonag ni gima wan go matin no.
Yeah.
Mane ludhwa manyaka negnwa thuol.
Yeah.
Koro wanen to thuol wasenego thuondi adi or ok wanego thuol at all. So it means waonge luth.
Yeah.
To onge any community ma onge luth. So gima wan go matin ne mwanyis ji ni mae wanyalo timo go ma, so that kakoro wadwaro maduong to ngato ne ni ngani ne osedo mi okinyal biro nyiso wa ni mia pesa matin nyathina, koro pesa mia cha oge nyal timo gimoro to ka piny to ere pesa no ni tok na chame to dong mano timo gimoro ni mi pesa matin ma ok nya timo gimoro. Pesa momino itimo gango. Gimitimo gono eminyiswa.
Yeah.
To kisenyiswa we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Katu wanyis ni kama pesa matini emitimo goma. Kari kuru wachoro no lwetwa. An mane manyawe uyuthuru.
Aliye na masikio asikie, aliye na macho ambiwe itazama. I think you've made such a fantastic rallying call. Kama nanya professor kum yewe kodwa. I hope no nyalo ngado these things into very short clips mondo odineji mangeny, WhatsApp groups mondo at least wayao patch jowa. Ntiere cobwebs mangeny mantiere yitwa gi wengewa maji main kama gima nyalo konyo wa golo. I was your host today, Danish Odongo. Like, subscribe to the YouTube channel Twak, and let us know who you want us to host next. And we might just be in your county next for the next Twak Leadership Forum. Until next time, adios, may God bless you.